All right, welcome to another update on tropical storm Isaias, which has weakened from a hurricane. It actually became a hurricane right around here and weakened back to tropical storm around here. So, this is pretty much his life. It went here, and here it is now. Quite significantly weaker, now winds of 65 mile per hour, pressure of 995 millibars, and moving north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Here's current location right now. Wind field has gotten significantly smaller at this point. Um, and it looks like it might just go like this at this point. It might as well do that, it looks like, and miss entirely Florida if the trend continues, although it could wobble a little bit to the right, but that does seem unlikely at this point based on the latest forecast. But as you can see, the system has been, getting smaller significantly by the minute. And if that once again, if the trend continues, it looks like it's just gonna be moving north, which is gonna be bringing minimal damage, if any damage, to the coast of Florida, unless it does take a turn more to the west, which it did wobble east a little bit, but let's say the center is like around here. I think it might be. So if it wobbles a little bit more like this, which it very well could do, doesn't look like it right now, but it could still wobble a little bit to the left, the west. As we get in later today, we'll see if that starts to happen. But here's the latest forecast cone. As you can see, it does keep it of offshore of Florida, and then bring it into South and North Carolina, and then into the northern part of the United States later on. Here's a look at the latest satellite imagery, looking a whole lot better than it did earlier today. So, that is a sign of potentially strengthening, maybe, but, it is just firing up a little bit more convection than it was. Here's a look at the system, how it's been looking, and really it's been significantly expanding, and here it is now. And, it is pretty big, it looks like. And, again, the center of that system is, I believe, maybe around here, this general area. So, if it continues this way, it'll just entirely miss the coast of Florida. And, it went like this pretty much, It has been going like this. It came here, kind of turned here, and it took that northern turn a lot sooner than expected. Well, it took a western turn a lot sooner, and then took back. It did something a little bit like this, and now it took that northern turn a lot sooner than expected. But we can still see this nudge a little bit more to the west. That is still something that could happen. So do take that into consideration. Currently, we have a couple aircraft recon there, number 19 going there, and then we do have number 18 here. Found some pretty weak winds around 45 to 50 knots, 55 knots, not even 55 knots. But it did find a very low pressure of around 980 millibars, surprisingly. But National Hurricane Center did go with 995 millibars, kind of holding up with that older recon mission. Which, as you can see, you could see that shift to the east with that mission as well. It is in some unfavorable shear also, which could be partly the reason for its weakening that we were getting earlier, and why it weakened significantly. It is in our 40 knots of shear, 30 to 40 knots of shear, which, as you know, wind shear is not favorable for tropical development, which is one of the reasons why this system has weakened pretty significantly. Here's that wind field again, tropical storm force winds extending very, few out, and you can see the track of the system. And if things continue the way it does, it looks like it could just pull out that way. And if we do bring this in, it looks like something like this could happen, which would entirely miss most of the east coast of Florida. But again, if it does potentially, maybe it just wobbled a little bit to the east. If it does move back a little bit like this, like the earlier track suggested, then we will have those winds getting a whole lot more inland, and those hurricane winds potentially getting inland as well. Because as you can see, it looks like it was going this way, then it kind of wobbled here, went back this way, wobbled here. Now it could still wobble back a little bit of the east. This morning's track showed it actually going like this morning, or yesterday night, and then curving back out to sea a little bit. So it could still do that potentially. But right now, it looks like the National Hurricane Center is going with something a little bit like this, which could also very well happen. But we're gonna have to see if it ends up curving a little bit more to the west or not, which is still a possibility. But here's the latest forecast models again, showing it just staying offshore at this point. None of the models bring it to landfall, which is very much good news for the east coast of Florida. So that's where we are. I am under tropical storm warning. Tropical storm warnings do extend pretty much in this entire area. So I am under a tropical storm warning currently. So that's what we're looking at right now. Other than that, not much else going on. Here's some, let's look at windy really quick for some of the models forecast. And some of the models still show a landfall. But I'll just show you guys the European model really quick. And as you can see, European model does bringing it extremely close. And so does the GFS and the NAM, but we'll see if the trend continues.